So again, welcome to our session, our September session for Academy for Program Coordinators. I'm your host, Aria. Thank you everyone for coming in and joining us during this hour. As a reminder, all our sessions are recorded and will be posted later on at the Academy for Program Coordinators Facebook page in the Padlet, which my apologies, I forgot last month, and the link will be sent via email. I also wanted to say my apologies because my calendar has been acting crazy, and every time I add more people to the invite, it cancels the meeting. I don't know. Like I said, technology, sometimes you love it, sometimes you hate it. So I wanted to also thank you all for the great responses that we received from our last session. And thank you for the recommendations for topics. I am taking those to my heart, and we will work on getting more sessions based on those topics coming soon. As we mentioned today, we will talking about coloring outside the lines. So if we just color out just inside the lines as per coordinators. Next month, we will have Miss Kimberly Warfield, who will be talking about setting boundaries. And then during November, I might change that based on the response from today and last month to include a topic that you guys have requested. There's a lot of the same topic that everybody's requesting, so I will do that change since it's my turn again. So I'm hoping to provide you with a great presentation. Before we start, please mute yourselves. I will be sharing the screen. Patrice Riley, she's a family medicine program coordinator here in Texas. She's a great friend and colleague. She is a wonderful person. So I'm hoping she receives the same welcome you guys gave me last month during her presentation today. So without further ado, I will leave you with Miss Patrice Riley.
Hello, everyone. Welcome and thank you for being here today. As Aria knows, I'm not really a speaker. I'm not really a speaker, and it makes me so nervous. But I love Aria, and I love what she does and what she has put together. So I thank you. Aria is going to be sharing the screen with the present for me and moving it. And is it there, Aria? Is it showing yet? I can see it.
Yes, it's showing. I'm trying to ensure that. Oh, God.
There it is.
Yeah. Do you see the whole slide or the presenter view?
I see the whole slide.
Okay, perfect.
Does everyone see the slide?
Yes.
Yes.
All righty. So of course today, let me move this out of the way. I'm trying not to mess up anything as I do this. Of course, today we have the topic is, do we color just inside the lines? And the next slide, Aria. And so for us, Aria is such an amazing person. And I just want you, and I want all of you to know that you're not alone in any of this. Coordinator, administrator, whatever your role is, you're not alone. We're all in this together. The objectives of this topic is to understand the role of program coordinator within UME and GME with perspectives from each role. Demonstrate the secret power that coordinators have, because we all have them, and so that we can be resilient in our workplace, and because in our workplace also carries out once we leave work into home. Advantages of the coordinator's voice when preparing or reflecting on projects, processes, and goals. Because we have a voice. It may not be as loud, but it comes across to everyone that we have dealings with in our day-to-day jobs. So what we have to say is very important, and we want that to be reflected, especially in a positive way. Thank you, Aria. Next one. Okay, who am I? My name is Patrice Riley, like Aria said. I've been working at Methodist Charlton for over 26 years, even though I'm only 6 years old. I don't know how it happened. It just God wanted me to be a young coordinator. I became a coordinator with Methodist Charlton Family Medicine Residency in 2011. I was approached by someone to ask me, let me know that a position was available, and they were hoping that I would take it. I was in another area of the hospital, and I'm so glad. It's one of the best decisions I ever made. I'm in a wonderful program, wonderful staff. I am I am recertified tag me in December 22. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Apologies, technical difficulties. Let's give her some a few minutes to log back in. In the meantime, if you have any questions, please post them on the chat. I'm monitoring the chat right now. And again, thank you everybody for joining in to our session.
Can you hear me? You hear me
Yes,
okay
we
now?
can.
I am so sorry. The hospital was calling me and now I'm back in here. I am so sorry. Let me get back into the full screen. So I started with the Methodist Charlton Family Medicine Residency Program in 2011, became recertified tag me in 2022. It was stressful leading up to the tag me exam, but it was great. It was taking the exam. You learn, preparing for the exam, you learn so much because all of us do different things in our role, even though we're all coordinators or administrators, we do different things. And I'm a nervous in-person speaker as well as a nervous Zoom speaker also. It just makes me so. Okay, next slide, Aria. Okay, how did we get here to this topic today? It all started with a brilliant idea of a coordinator, regardless of region or program, and that's Miss Aria. And when I said before, you're not alone, it's just so strange how things happen. Aria called me one day and said, Patrice, I have a fabulous idea for a session for coordinators. And she told me about, do we color just inside the line? She's like, what do you think? What do you think about that? And I told her about my grandson the night before Aria called me. And I know we're in graduate medical education, and I'm talking about pre-kindergartners, but that's how our real world rolls over into our work life. My grandson had a homework assignment. The homework assignment, you have circle the letter that corresponded with the picture on the page. So C for cat, D for dog. Then it was another picture. It was another picture that came up. It was a clown, but he did not circle the C for clown. He went above and circled an M in the square above. And I told his name is Kyron. I said, Kyron, this one is incorrect. And he was so upset. He said, but it is correct. And I said, no, because you circled M, but that's a clown. He said, no, that's a man. And all I could do was stop. And it just started making me think of everything, how I work, how how when, when you're at work and other departments don't quite understand GME, don't understand. We're really, we don't try to be our own silo in our own silo, but we are different. We're so different. So, and Ari and I were talking. That's why I want you all to know, if you leave with anything, you're not alone, and we are different, and it's okay. It is, it is okay, because we do have to go above the line. He saw that picture as not just a clown, because that clown was a man. Above all things, that clown was a man. Even though he had on the makeup, the clown hat, the nose, it was a man. All right, next slide, Aria. So, oh no, the project requirements do not fit the process that our resident students feel ACGME requirements. Institutionally, they say one thing, but what can we do? Have you had handled it? How does anyone have anything to say in regards to that? You had a project, or you're working on a project, and it does not fit exactly what they want, but what you need to do does not fit what they need. Does anyone have that issue going on now? I can't see hands. I can't see. No one?
Feel free to raise your hands or
Oh,
put messages in the chat.
I know for me, we had an issue with our institution. We pay for our residents when they're coming in for their NRP. And so a few years ago, we had to, I would have our residents, they would receive their packets, their information. We would send out books, we would send out everything to them. But then our Department of Education said, Patrice, I received information that we now have to have everyone signed up in NRP 3 months ahead of time versus 2 months or 1 month ahead of time. And I said, well, it's kind of hard. We don't find out who we're getting until March. And so by the time we get everything together, I said, but we have to. Now it's a requirement. We need to show proof for our accreditation that we sent this information out. Well, HR was on another level of that, saying, no, we can't send out because they're not employees yet. So I had Department of Education, I had HR, I had IT, who had to get everything together. Then here I am saying, but I need to get them. But we got it all worked out. Worked out. So we did have a project, but one department had requirements, another department had requirements, I had requirements, and we had to pull it all together, where we were finally able to pull it together. And not that anyone was being mean or attempting to be mean in that situation. It was just that everyone felt they had their own requirements that they had to go by.
Patrice, we have some
And so,
some comment in the chats.
mhm,
People are saying practically the same thing you are saying about onboarding, and how true is that HR does not understand that residents are different. That is true. Somebody said that they have 48 clinics and they want to make them cookie cutters, and that residency is a whole different animal and can be put into those borders. That is true. And yes, and Debbie's saying how true that most in our department do not understand what we do, what our parameters are and are not.
That's true.
Oh, Carolyn, I'm sorry. She says that she has a faculty member that constantly asks her to do research. It may be resident related, but not exactly related to my job. It happens.
It happens.
People covering for two programs. Jeanette is saying she's a coordinator for cardio fellowship, but due to loss in the department, she's covering for IM2.
That is so, that is so hard, because, and I don't know, for those, some are hourly and some are salary. And for those that are hourly, we were switched like a year and a half ago to hourly. And so I know some are still salary. And your time, Aria mentioned before in her last presentation about having a recipe. So there's a recipe for what has to be done. Everyone does not know every spice that goes into your recipe to make everything work. They just see the end result and figure that you can get it done. Just because I'm saying I need this presentation, it's not, you ask for the presentation in 6 minutes, it's done. It doesn't work that way. We work, coordinators work ahead of schedule to prepare for what's upcoming and to get things done. And being salary, it extends your time. No one knows. So the best thing to do, you have to continuously write things out, or, and know what goes into your process, your work process, because it becomes so overwhelming. It will become very, 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 and I see somebody say, I saw someone say they can understand how a task could take several hours. Sorry, Aria, I saw that.
Mhm.
Someone said, well, it depends on how often you're interrupted also. And it depends on how often you're interrupted. And it depends on how, we prioritize our priorities. And so we have 15 things are at top tier priority. And then, then you're working your way down. So you prioritize a priority. Everything's a priority. Everything's a priority. So some things can take longer. Sometimes you can feel like you have ADHD because you're popping here, you're popping there, and that's why things are, what we do is like a recipe. We wish that we had the time to make sure that we did not forget the cinnamon or the nutmeg or the this or the that, to make sure. And just think, if you're working on a PLA, and you have to get it over to legal, but then because you're interrupted or you have so much going on, you forget something, then it comes back to you. Or, so you're trying to make sure that what you do that has to go to someone else is complete. But in your head, you're going nuts because you're trying to complete everything. And that's where you have to prioritize yourself. And some things will take hours. Some tasks, it depends on what the task is. Everything is not just so cut and dry. Everything, working on a task the other day, working on something the other day, and all tasks are not that, that simple. Working on a task the other day, I received a knock at our back door. The back door of where my office is, we're attached to the clinic. It was a lady with her son, and we remembered them from last year. Her son is autistic, and we're not supposed to let anyone in through that back door, through the clinic, but her son is autistic, and we had met them last year because her son was screaming and crying outside of our door, scared of the elevators. He was afraid of the elevators. And so I stopped what I was doing, opened the back door, and walked them up. They had to go through our clinic, and I took them up the stairs to the doctor's office and then back downstairs. And then Queen, our medical student coordinator, had to do that another time. Now, we don't let everyone through, but we knew that little boy's situation. And so at that time, so even though I was working on something, it threw me off for a little bit. And of course, when you come back, you meet people along the way who need something else, and then you go back to your task. So your day is not cut and dry, and I understand that. And that's what we wish others would know. And it's okay to relay that. It's okay to relay that to your PD, assistant PD, your clinic manager, or whoever you report to, or just, luckily we have Teresa Murphy that works with us, and she's our director of behavioral health, and she oversees wellness also. and we have wellness moments, and she lets us vent. She lets us vent, and we could talk about things. So, and Aria likes to say that this place is a safe zone. So you can ask anything. We're all going together. We're all going through something. What I may not go through, someone else has, and may have something, some input. Anyone have anything to say about that? How can task last so long? Can anyone have anything to relate to that? I see some. You get time off. I can see they're popping up. Yeah, I know it's difficult. And again, like I said before, some what I do, some of the tasks that I have in my role, even though I'll be program coordinators, or you may be medical student or whatever, we still may do different things depending on what your PD does, what your PD likes to do themselves or for you. So we may do different things. Can we go to the next slide, Aria, please? Okay, so look at this. What if you are intentional of coloring inside the lines, but it is considered outside of the lines for the stakeholders? And that kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier, the different departments. They have different rules, don't understand graduate medical education. So it's all different. Everyone's different. So what if you are in, can anyone give an example when they were being intentional, but someone else came to them and said, no, there is a little appreciation of the impact. Yes. Yes, we understand that. We understand that. And I know I said it before, I know sometimes when I go to conferences, again, I'm not a speaker. Just announced to me this morning. I missed that one. It was in my PD announced me this morning. So repeat the question. What if you are intentional of coloring inside the lines, but it's considered outside of the lines for your stakeholders or someone else? You're intentionally doing what you feel is supposed to be done, or the outline for the task at hand. You're intentionally working on that. But for another area in the hospital, for some, even from the GME office to the program office to someone else, is considered outside of the lines for someone else. Have you ran into that, and how did you handle it? Because you're being intentional. And I know for most of us, I tell my email goes to my task manager. Yeah, I hate that people get mad. They will, because it's hard. You're coordinating so many people, so many groups together, that you can't please everyone. If I make banana bread, if I make, and I'm like, this is just the best banana bread in the world. You will love it. I don't eat banana bread, or Susie Q is allergic to bananas, or so you can't be everything for everyone, but you can be intentional of being who you are and doing your best. So you can't please everyone. Oh, they said Aria had taken to tag me. Certain people are not going. That's where you put a sign up. If someone knocking on your door, you put the sign up that says testing, or in a meeting from 10 to 4, please do not disturb. Please do not disturb. That's when you put a sign, and it's okay. It's okay to do that, because you're setting that boundary for yourself. And in my situation, again, like I had mentioned, we don't have offices. We sit out in the open. So I'm working from home. I have to do this from home today because I can't do it from work. I'll have too many interruptions all around me. And so it's pretty hard. I'm hoping that And I see that, yes, I hope that you did great on your Tag Me exam. I know probably made you nervous. I hope it went smoothly. I hope it went smooth for you, and just praying that your results come. And I know you did a great job, because what is it, Ari?
Congratulations, Diana. No, I'm sorry, Patrice, but I'm reading Sharon's message. She said that one thing she is grateful for, having her own office.
I have my own desk. They did bring in one-time screens to put around my desk. I'm like, oh no, I don't want the screen. I didn't want the screens, but I was gonna say, one thing coordinators are good for is tuning out things when we don't need to be part of it. So I was hoping you could tune out those knocks and just work the task at hand and get it done, because that's what coordinators do. That is what we do. Office is a must. I know, I know. Next slide, Aria, please. Okay, so here's what we're all talking, what the stakeholder sees versus what you see. You see one thing because you know what needs to be done. Coordinators have a full focus view of everything, along with your PD, but even sometimes more than your PD, because your PD may not know that this resident had a car wreck on the way in, even though they made it to clinic on time, having this issue. Someone may not know this other resident is pregnant but haven't told anyone yet. So you may not know that this person has something this person has something coming up, and you can't schedule whatever event on this day because they've already put in for vacation, but you wanted to. So you have a full view of everything. That's a lot. It's a lot on you, because not only are you're, I know you may or may not be in the GME office, but you are GME or UME. You are that. You are that. So you have everything that goes along with that. Finance, you have legal, you have HR, you have, just every department basically that you have some dealings with. And so you see everything, and they don't see everything. So that's where it comes in, where you have to feel confident in yourself, intentional in expressing and letting others know, well, this is what I know, you asked me to do this, but I have this. And I'll say that to my PD. And again, my PD and associate PD is the best. They're the best. And I can say, well, I know you asked to do this, but ABC. He's like, oh, okay, well, just rearrange it and just let me know, or and I'll let you know if I can or cannot do that. Everyone may not have that, but I hope there's a way that you can speak to someone. You have someone that you can talk to help work through any issues or any problems that you have during your daily work, because they don't see everything that you see. They don't have the full picture. You have the full picture. Could anyone give me an example of a full picture day, a day that just had a lot going on, and you were able to just draw it in together for at least a few people to see? They would be truthfully lost without us saying. Yes. You can raise your hand, or you can speak up and talk if you like. Interview days are like that. Oh, yes, Annette. That is true. That is true, Annette. And with interview season coming up, I don't know if anyone has already started what program you're in. The interview season has already started with your interviews. The interview season, everything goes, because you have milestones, you have so much. Well, good luck on everyone with interview season, with interviews. Good luck. Good luck. Next. Yes, I'm
think
sorry.
my favorite example would probably be one day when I got to work and it was interview day, but we knew it was interview day. That was fine. But then there was an unplanned faculty candidate interview that showed up and meetings with my APD and PD with an external rep and oh my God, nobody did this credentialing thing. And I did
Uh,
all of that while running the Zoom interviews, all of that. And nobody knew until the end of the day, essentially. And they were like, wait, what happened today? I was
mm,
like, "Mhm. Welcome to a regular day."
It's a regular day. It is a regular day. They don't see what you see. You're so crucial to this. We're different. Ari and I spoke before. I actually see this as a career. And I see that there's purpose in your position, whatever your position is. There's purpose in your position in your role at work. As a parent, as a you know as a child of an adult parent, you may have a sick adult parent, or whatever your role is. And I see my role in my residence and my residency program. I see it as a career, and I see it as a purpose. So when you just hone into your purpose and hone into yourself, being selfish, to me, being selfish, hone into myself of what my purpose is, and to keep me happy, and not so stressed. I hone it to me. This is my purpose. This is my purpose. And I will handle things accordingly, because no one sees everything. And not only what the stakeholder sees and what you see. Again, you have more than just life just within your role at work. You have an outside life that bleeds into your role, your work job. So, and that's why I said, when I was able to bring the story of my kindergartner grandson into this, your life experiences outside of work help mold your work life. And so we want to say, especially with COVID, there's so many changes. Were so many changes, constant changes, that I knew it was difficult. Make it simple. So it's so hard. It is really hard. Next slide, Aria, please. Benefits of coordinator feedback. And Aria is really good about this. And the one thing about this series for coordinators, benefits coordinator feedback empowers, diffuses conflict before it happens, ability to give insight from a fellow coordinator's view and experiences, introduces innovation, promotes mentoring efforts. Our words to each other, and I don't know how many of you are on listservs. They are a godsend. They are such a great help. Again, I keep saying that you are not alone. I know it can be stressful. That I pulled something from a listserv the other day, and yesterday a PD outside of my program asked for something, and it would actually happen to be something that I pulled from a listserv last week. So it was perfect, and I forwarded the entire thing. He knew it came from the listserv. It wasn't one that I created. He knew that. It just so happened I pulled this from the listserv last week. Here you are. And so that helps out. So that empowered me to know, because I was going to get a little stressed at first. Like, wait a minute, I saw that last week. But on to this next one, diffuses conflict before it happens. So that's why when I say we have a full view of everything that happened, we're able to say, if, like, again, with the meetings, you're scheduling meetings, someone can't do this meeting, but we have a full view of everything. So we can go in and say, we can't do this here because of this, unless we move it to here and rearrange this, rearrange that. So we can go in and say, to try to diffuse things, because we're coordinators, we're intentional of how we need to schedule or what we need to do, because we have so many things on our plate. and introduces innovation. Has anyone introduced something new or something to their program that wasn't done before, that, that the program took on? And, innovation can be anything. Sometimes you think it's very small. You think that what you have said or what you provide is small, and it's not. It produces innovation. Anything that someone has done you felt really good about, that it was taken?
My name is Rashana Gaskin. I'm calling from University of Michigan Internal Medicine Geriatrics. I did a little process improvement. I didn't think it was much for them, but apparently they like it. So I created a geriatric at a glance calendar that listed all of the things that our preceptors and faculty needed to know, such as like milestones, when graduation would be, when we were going to do like a PD welcome meet and greet at the house, recruitment season, AGS abstracts due, all of that for the entire year, and they love it. And so I was like, okay, this works. And so our sister, well, not sister, but the palliative and hospice medicine, their coordinator in PD is adopting that as well. And then I also introduced, again, didn't think it was a big deal because we do this at my church, Sign Up Genius for signing up for didactics as well as recruitment for faculty. And it has been a lifesaver because they have utilized just emails. And I was able, even though it was a little time consuming in the beginning, to put the entire didactic schedule out there and then send a blanket email out, and then faculty could look, and their admins who support them could look to see which days worked best for them. And if they needed to be like, things needed to be taught during first quarter or second quarter, I created in a way where only first quarter didactics, and then this was the group of individuals that it would go to. So like I said, even though I used it on a regular personally, I was able to introduce those things, and everybody, it went over well.
That is amazing. And I know, and I'm hoping that you felt so good about that. And I want you to write it down and keep it to the side of things that you did amazingly well for your program. Keep that, because that's something, update your CV to keep down those things that you do well, because things that you do well, it also rolls over into, how one thing leads to another, can lead to another. So you've introduced something that will just continue, you'll be able to continuously draw from that. That is such great idea. I know you just helped a lot of people with that. You just helped a lot of us on here with that. That is just such an amazing feat. And again, like you said, you didn't think it was much, but it really did help. Anyone else have anything they would like to share?
Hi, my name is Janine. We use Microsoft Office for our institution here. And I started doing my planner with my program director. And so I can go in there and say, okay, this is like, we have to work on the annual program evaluation. And I can type in like the to-dos of like bullet points or a small description of like what needs to get done. And then I can share that with both him and I, and it will give us a daily update on everything that's on that list. So it's kind of like a daily reminder to my program director of like, hey, this is the progress we made on this. And every time you make any modification, there's an email that's sent out to everybody that's involved in that to do. And it's been really helpful because he's been like giving me the information that I needed more frequently based off of those reminders that he's getting, because he can go in and he can check any of them and modify them. He can message back and forth with me, and we can have conversations built into that system. So it's all contained in one spot. And it's been really helpful. You can set deadlines and stuff. So we found that worked really, really well. But it's called My Planner, and it's in Office 365 if anybody else wants to test it out and see how it works.
See how you just led into promotes mentoring efforts. What our speakers have just said, have just given information that helps mentor all of us that are on this call. But not only that, you're mentoring within your program, you're mentoring your PD. You're mentoring, whomever you're helping, you're mentoring your faculty in introducing something and then showing them how it works. So you are teaching and mentoring, and that's part of your role also. So you're doing so much more than what you think you're doing. You're so much more than what your title is. It's so much more than that. Which again, we say this, that no one truly understands the life of, GME, you and me. No one understands that life. But you're not only mentoring other coordinators, or you're mentoring your faculty, staff, your residents. And so bravo to you two. Bravo to all of you. All right, next
What was
slide.
the name of the program that Richana used for scheduling?
Oh, Sign Up Genius. I can
Sign
put
Up
it in the
Genius.
chat.
And you have to pay for that, or?
Nope, it's free.
Okay, thank
So
you.
you're welcome. I use my own personal one, so to say, like Roshana Gaskin. But when I was with emergency medicine, their department, because it was a large residency program, the department paid for that. So any didactics emails came from emresidency@umich.edu. So I guess it depends on what each program wants to do. But for me, ours is smaller, so I just use it myself. And like I said, I love free.
Awesome, thanks.
You guys are amazing. You guys are just completely amazing. Next slide, Aria, please. Self-reflection. Let's talk about self-reflection. And again, I keep saying that you are, so much more. And when you sit back and think of the things that you do on a daily basis for yourself, for others, give yourself grace. Give yourself grace in what you do. Give yourself space. Give yourself time. If you feel overwhelmed, think back on the thing that you have done, that you have provided to your program, for yourself, to your family. Give yourself grace, because you're doing so much more than the average bear. You're doing so much on a daily basis. So I want you to just think about those things that you do daily. Even though it may seem simple, I know some days go by, you're like, what did I do today? I know I had to speak to this resident. I know I had to do this, but everything on my checklist has not been completed. And that's okay. It wasn't meant to be completed, because you needed time for something else. And it's okay, because everything that you did was important. Everything. No, even if you snuck away for a few minutes, even though you probably had your phone with you and they were texting you and asking you where you were. So do some self-reflection, please. Next slide, Aria, please. Okay, self-reflection. So when you self-reflect, think about what was effective. What did you do that really worked, was effective? What could have been done differently? Were you well prepared? What are some future strategies? Do you need to document this? And do you need help with the process? And again, you are not alone. If you're working on something, feel like it wasn't effective, reach out to someone and say, I did this, it didn't work. It doesn't mean that it was wrong. It just meant you needed to tweak it a little bit, because whenever you do something and you have a project, something that you're working on, if it doesn't go right, that just gives you other areas within that project, you need to work on, that you can move forward with. You can still move forward, but you learn from it. You learn from all of that. So what could be done differently? Again, reaching out to listserv, to others, to other coordinators. You have such a wealth of knowledge, new and older coordinators, new coordinators and old coordinators. I'm telling you, new coordinators give so much, provide so much good information. And you think you don't have, but you're bringing ideas from life, from other areas that you worked in. You're bringing that to the table. don't think you do not have a voice, because you're able. You know what? We just, she uses sign up Genius, and she uses it at her church, and it's a big help. You have things in your life that can help others. Again, no matter how small. So if there is if anyone needs help with a process, do you need help with a process? Reach out. See, I keep folders on my desk for all the major yearly events, orientation, interviews. Yes. You have to, you have to keep things aligned for yourself. Whatever works for you. You work with so many people who have different modes of work modes, and you work with so many people. This person likes this person likes that, this person likes blue, this person likes red. And so, but you yourself have requirements that help you get through the day. So it's okay for your process, and it's okay to look at others and see what their processes are, and go from there. Okay, I write this outside of the folder as well. Very good. Next slide, Aria. So when have you color outside the lines? Have you brought any idea to others that might be unconventional? Think about something that you have done differently for others. Was this idea welcome? Does anyone have an idea, something that they brought, something else that was brought outside the line that may have been a little unconventional but worked? I had Queen and I, during when COVID hit hard, it was really hard, and our residents were struggling. They weren't getting their assignments done. It was just a hard time, but they were also covering for each other. They were sick. We had so many exposures. I had COVID at the beginning of COVID, and I was out for 6 weeks. I was working from home. I was well enough to work, but we had COVID. Then the clinic closed down. So and we came back to work. When we came back to work again, we were attached to the clinic. Queen and I, our medical student coordinator, who's real, coordinator, Queen and I, we brought to our PD and associate PD and the medical director about having we wanted to have a practice management admin duties lecture session or a session for our residents, where quarterly we have that 2-hour block, and the residents could come to us, each of us, go to our coder, go to our director of behavioral health, go to their advisors, and anything that they needed to complete or needed help with, they could get it done then. It helped me because I was stressing, because so many things weren't done that I needed done from my residents' point of view. But the residents were also sick, and they had patients dying. They had family members dying because of COVID. But when we instituted that it was a coordinator session, a coordinator session for practice management admin duties, and they agreed. And it's been one of the best things that we've done. So it never had that before, and I didn't know how they would feel about having the coordinators do that, but we had different areas, and it made a big difference in our residents getting their work done and not feeling like they were being punished because they had to be out to take care of a sick family member or themselves because of COVID, or they were burnt out from just caring for so many patients and covering so many shifts. So that was one of the things that we did. We didn't know if they would accept it or not, but it didn't hurt to throw the idea out there, and it ended up working out very well.
I have some comments here. Carmen said that she adds how-to instructions to her Outlook contacts. Makes it easier to locate when something comes up and she may need a refresher. And that is, that is great. Honestly, I never thought of that. So thank you. Mary says she has 30 different signatures in Outlook. Yes, sometimes we do need multiple signatures. Carolyn, you want to say something?
So I don't know if this is really considered unconventional or outside of the lines, but our chief resident and I, we came up with a peer mentor model for our interns coming in. And this actually came from when she played soccer. So we have a 6-year residency. And the way we have it set up is the 4th year is a mentor to the intern. 5th year is a mentor to the 2nd year. 6th year is a mentor to the 3rd year. And then when the 6th year graduates, then by that time, the 3rd year will be, or the 4th year will be able to pick up the new intern that comes in. So it has actually worked out pretty well, because when the intern comes in, they kind of have somebody to show them the ropes and ask questions to, and, you know, they're automatically assigned to them, but then they can also, you know, ask the other residents questions, but they know that they have that one person that is going to be there for them. And it's helped us a lot too, because there's some questions I can't answer. You know, just random questions about how to do this, how to do that, honestly, I just don't know. I'm not out there caring for patients. But you know, their mentor can answer the questions for them, and it's worked out pretty nice. And that came from soccer.
Wow. That is great. That is so great. I am, you know, again, like I said, old and new coordinators, we learn from each other. When we share this information, it is such a big help. It is such a big help to me, to everyone, because we don't know all the answers. And again, like the Tag Me exam, Tag Me is one of the things about being a coordinator is how well you can find the answer. You don't have all the answers. We cover too many areas, you know, we don't have all the answers right off the top of our head. So it's how well you can find the answer and resolve the problem. So that's it. Just, you won't have the answer. Don't feel bad if you don't have the answer, because you won't have the answer to everything. The next slide, Aria, please. Has someone encouraged
If
you
I
to
could
come?
jump in real quick,
Go right ahead.
I think it's really good too to not only have like the fellows and the residents have like a mentor, but I think it's really good for you to kind of communicate with other coordinators, not even within your institution, but just, even if they're not in your specialty, to have someone to reach out to. I don't, me and Carolyn, we vent probably daily, but it's nice to have someone to look at you and say, hey, you're doing it this way, but maybe you can do it this way as well. So that's helped like our well-being, I feel like. So that's, I don't think coordinators really think about it that way. I think that they necessarily, even if it's in a different department, that people can be
Right.
beneficial to them as well.
And well, you know, everyone may have something different, and it may not even be a drastic change. It's just some little thing that you did not think of. You're like, what? You know, it's almost like inventions. Like we're daily inventors. We invent something new every single day. Just like when we put our kids on punishment, you know, sometimes a punishment is a made up punishment. They don't know it. They just know it's a punishment. But in our case, we're not trying to punish anyone, but we're inventing something every day. And I saw someone in the chat earlier who said, you know, why reinvent the wheel? You know, you when you reach out to someone else. I had someone, Queen, the other day, we were talking, and then she said, Patrice, why don't we just do this on a Friday versus on Saturday for an event we were having? You know, just because it's never been done on a Friday does not mean we can't do it on a Friday. Took it to the PD. He said, why not? Go right ahead. And it just never, just something that simple, that just never crossed my mind. We want things to be more difficult. We want things to be a little bit more difficult, but we, you know, try our best, because customer service days, the answer is never, I don't know. It's, I'll find out. That is so true. That is so true. And next slide, Aria. Have you encouraged others to color outside the lines? Anyway, and you know, the first slide and this slide, these two, you guys are encouraging each other, and and I feel like you've been encouraged by the feedback that you're receiving during this call. You can reach out, like she said, reach out to other coordinators. reach out to others because, your daily life also, it runs into your work life, and some of your answers are there. You're not alone. You're not alone in this coordinator, administrator, GME, you and me universe. You're not alone in this. It's not an easy role. It's not easy, but for me at least, it's such a fulfilling role. I really love what I do. Troublemakers in the house. Well, but I love what I do. But you have those obstacles, for those who don't understand what you're doing. So in that instance, you're getting even other departments within your institution or your hospital to go outside of the lines. You're offering them that opportunity to understand your role, the needs of your department, your area, your program, and for them to go to, step outside the lines also. Next slide, Aria, please. And this is a quote from Courtney Mason. She's a regional director with Travelers Insurance, and she's a speaker that she speaks on different podcasts and national events. It says, within ethics and bylaws, you should stay within the lines. However, lines are not gates. They're boundaries. But it's okay to consider going beyond the lines into scenarios that create innovation, empathy, flexibility, etc. The only thing constant in life is change. The best companies adapt to the environment and the times. This provides competitive advantage and will allow you to retain your employees by making them feel appreciated, respected, and cared for. And I know that's, as coordinators and administrators and in our roles, we want to feel appreciated for what we do, which everyone does. You want to feel respected, you want to feel cared for, you want to know that your ideas matter, even if the idea is not accepted. You want to feel that you are part of, you may or may not be considered faculty, but you really are. You are part of that group. And does anyone have anything to add to this? What Courtney Mason, her statement, does anyone have anything to add? I see the last 5 words. Yes, making them feel appreciated, respected, and cared for. Yes, that is what we all, and that's, our residents want to feel that way, our faculty want to feel that way. We just want everyone to know, because even though some things we do sometimes you don't get the acknowledgement right at that time, but just knowing when you do something intentional, you're intentional, and you're the purpose in your position is intentional, the things that you do. I want you to feel good about what you are doing on a daily basis, whether you're acknowledged or not, because we as coordinators, all of us around you, we may not see you, we may not hear you, we may not know what you're doing at the moment or going through, but know that we are behind you and we understand. We all understand. We're there. It may be a little different from us, but for you, you are us, and you're not alone. So always feel free to reach out to any listserv that you have. My email is not on there. I should have put it on there. You reach out to Aria. She is the creator of this academy. And thank you so much, Aria. Thank you so much for having us. Anyone have any last words, or Aria have anything to say?
I am so happy with all the comments that are coming in. One of the things that people mentioned during our last evaluation, our last session, is to share the comments. I'm going to pull those into a document and try to delete the identifiers and share it in the Facebook page. Somebody asked about sharing documents in the Facebook group. Yes, do so. You are more than welcome to. I'm going to try to open a document there where you can share your contact information and connect with other coordinators from your specialty and from other specialties. Again, thank you so much for joining us today. Again, you are not alone. Feel free to ask any questions you have. We're here to support each other. Okay, so I hope everybody has a great rest of the day. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.